What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of James Howell's Chiefs Talk. My name is James Howell. To my left, my legendary co-host, Chase Riley. Chase Riley, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm fantastic, man. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, man, we hanging in there. We're hanging in there. The good news is we've got football right around the corner. Now, it's not NFL football, but it is football.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The USFL is making a comeback, and they are starting this next week. So it looks like there's going to be an alternative to the NFL. So when there's no NFL, there's other football on. I'll tell you what, man. I'm super excited about it. Anytime that there's football on, I'm going to watch. Whether it's high school, college, NFL, USFL, XFL, whatever it is. So. Mark, appreciate you joining tonight, man.
Yeah, what's up, my man? What's up? Thanks for tuning in. Hey, look, bro, we got you guys here. You can make sure to follow us. I forgot what I was going to say for a quick second. Make sure you follow us at JamesHowell1 for me, at CR Media 1988 for Chase. You can find us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, all the socials, TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. Just if you like Chiefs content, make sure that you follow us. We're here each and every single week. Whether it's in season, out of season, we will try to give you up-to-date coverage. Yo, Donnie, my man, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for tuning in tonight. Me too, Mark. Me too. I'm so ready. Man, how's your week been, bud?
It's been crazy. So just a quick recap. Friday night or all of last week, I was in St. Joe, working on my dad's house up there, trying to get ready to sell, and came home Friday, took Friday to kind of rest. Saturday, I went to an independent professional wrestling promotion in Kansas City. And then Sunday went to the Royals game, got sunburnt. And it was 6-0 while we were waiting in line to even get into the stadium. So that was awesome.
That's disgusting, bro. But yeah. I mean, look, it's not hard to have a good time, whether they're winning or losing.
Yeah.
If you go out to the K, we go out to Kauffman Stadium. It's not hard to have a good time, man. I love Kauffman Stadium.
Absolutely.
I hope that they don't move it. There's been talks of maybe moving downtown.
Those talks have kind of died out. There was a construction company who put in a bid to possibly look at.
My guy, appreciate you.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that, man. Much love. But there was a few years back. There was a company that put in a bid to look at possibly building a new stadium for the Royals downtown, like in kind of like the West Bottoms area, kind of like over there by Kemper Arena.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that don't like that idea. And, I feel really indifferent about it. The area where the I-70 sports complex is, it's not the best area. There's not a whole lot of room for growth over there as far as hotels and restaurants and stuff like that. So I can see where the appeal would be. While we're on the subject, there has also been word that there was a bid put in for a new stadium to be built for the Chiefs on the Kansas side. Now, granted, these are just companies putting in bids. There's no validity.
Happens all the time.
Really. Yeah. I mean, they get inquiries about this all the time. I mean, could you imagine being the marketing guy that says, "Hey, XYZ construction company is going to build the new Kansas City Chiefs stadium"? Like, that's number one. Yeah. The money's huge on that, and number two, it's great word for you. So, but yeah.
And at the end of the day, these construction companies, just because we hear this stuff doesn't mean that it's going to happen.
Exactly.
We've heard talks in the past about Arrowhead getting a dome. And if the goal is, see, one of the biggest things I heard when we heard that there might be a new stadium or that there was a bid put in or whatever was, well, they want to get the Super Bowl. They want to be able to bring the Super Bowl to Kansas City, because that brings in a lot of money for the city. They can accomplish the same thing with putting a dome on Arrowhead. And there's been talks about it before in the past. So I just wouldn't put too much into it. These are just companies that are like, here, guys, this is what we can do for you.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. Until, Mark Donovan comes out and he says, hey, we're serious about this. And I also think that it has a lot to do with, okay, so whatever the Royals decide to do will influence what the Chiefs do 100%. If the Royals take off, they go downtown, maybe they go to P&L, maybe they go to West Bottoms or wherever. And it's not the Truman Sports Complex anymore. It's not the same. We're used to sharing that spot with the Royals, and they kind of work together on a lot of things when it comes to that. And so I think that if they move, the stadium might very well move. Now, on I know a lot of people are like, the history and it's Arrowhead and I get it. I love Arrowhead. There's no greater experience in my mind than going to a game at Arrowhead. Me and you had the pleasure of going to the playoff game, the Bills game. That was one of the most electric environments I've ever been in my entire life.
Exactly.
And that moment, will rank within my top 10 because of it. It was such a great experience. Look at Jerry's World, the stadium in Dallas. Look at SoFi. Look at what is it, Alliance Stadium or something? The Raiders' new stadium. Go look at Atlanta's new stadium.
Hey, it's not the Raiders Stadium. It's Arrowhead numero dos.
Yeah, Arrowhead West.
Yeah,
we'll call it Arrowhead West.
That's right.
But you go and you look at these stadiums, and they're just magnificent.
Yeah,
I want that.
Yeah.
I would like that too. So
why can't we have nice things? Like, the history behind Arrowhead just makes me, every single time somebody talks about building a new stadium or moving the stadium or whatever, the history of Arrowhead is the only thing that makes me stop and go, I don't want that. But like I was talking about with Kauffman Stadium, you look at the area, the I-70 Sports Complex, the area is, there's no room for improvement in that area. Yeah. There's not going to be a lot of a lot of growth there. So, and we plan on talking about this in future episodes. We're going to talk about the NFL draft coming to Kansas City next year.
Yeah.
Mark is right. Mark is absolutely right. Every stadium is AFC West, or every stadium in the AFC West is Arrowhead too, because the Chiefs own the AFC West.
That's right.
And ain't a damn thing changed.
That's right. That's right. Oh my God, bro! I seen this post. I think I showed it to you. I just wanted to. It's just still on my mind, bro. Rich Eisen. I don't know, like if he's just getting old or what's going on, but he ranks the AFC teams as the Buffalo Bills as number 1, the Bengals as 2, the Raiders at 3, and then the Chargers at 4, and then the Chiefs at 5. I mean, the dude is just, it's almost, it's borderline delusional.
It is. And when you sent that to me, I was just like, Rich Eisen's not serious, is he?
Yeah, he can't be serious. It's got to be a joke.
I
even went back and looked to see when it was posted, to see if it was posted on April 1st, because I just couldn't believe it. I was like, this guy, the audacity of this guy right here.
Yeah. No, I wholeheartedly agree. I'm sitting there. As soon as you sent it, and I sent it to you, I was like, the disrespect, and I was like, what moron put this list together? And I saw Rich Eisen, and yeah, looking at it, it's the Bills, the Bengals, the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And
It's like,
maybe
what?
maybe Rich Eisen is basing it off of like last season. But I
Even
mean,
then, I don't know how you come to that conclusion.
I'm not sure either, but
So,
that was definitely a sour patch to that I saw as soon as you sent it to me.
all right. All right, guys. Well, we're about to get into this. And before we get into this, look, let's go ahead and hit that share button. It's completely free. Takes 5 seconds to do. Let's get some Chiefs fans in here right now. We've got a pretty good viewing, 15 people. Appreciate each and every single one of you. Make sure you follow JamesHowell1, CR Media 1988. Hit that follow button. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, yada, yada, yada. Do whatever you got to do to make sure that you never miss an episode of James House Chiefs Talk. All right, boss, it's game time. Look, man, I wanted to try to start doing this. I just thought it would be fun, different set of games, and that's why I kind of brought it up to you earlier in the show. And while we got so many people on here, that's okay. Chiefs never get any love. That's okay, man, because like after we won the Super Bowl, we had that target on our back. It changed everything. It changed the dynamic of how we had to play football. Or I say we, but I mean the Chiefs. How the Chiefs had to play football. And so I kind of like playing that underdog role.
I do too, man. That's what I was going to say is, a lot of people, a lot of people scoff and myself included, I'll scoff when I see experts, pick so and so. I mean, I'll never forget watching analysts, experts pick the Steelers and the Chiefs playoff game. And they were like, oh, this is Big Ben, this is Big Ben's last run, and Big Ben could pull one out of his hat. And I was like,
yeah,
that's disrespectful.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
absolutely disrespectful.
Well, and Chiefs fans for a long time have notoriously felt like national media just doesn't give them the respect. And I agree. I mean, I'm a Chiefs fan, so I'm right there with you. I think that the national media doesn't give Kansas City enough love, but that's okay. That's why you need to go to like your local media or like James House Chiefs Talk. And we'll spit the facts. We know what's going on. We're here. We're fans. We love the Chiefs just like you guys do. So, and we appreciate every single one of y'all that's in here. Look, real quick, before we get into this game, okay, so we got these two pictures, right? And I did a video, and Facebook was being dumb, so I'm just going to promo it right here, right? So we got this Rashad Fenton, 8x10, and we've got this Tyreek Hill, 8x10. You see it on both sides right there and right there. If I get it on the freaking camera. Certificate authenticity. Okay, so we're giving these away, right? So we're giving these 8x10s away. They're going to go out to one lucky fan. You're going to get both of them. Now, there's a couple different ways, and we've changed the format up just this week as we're implementing a new format. There's a couple different ways to earn entries. The first way is by participating in some of the games that we are going to start putting on. Today, we're going to do an over-under game. You're more than welcome to participate. Whoever wants to participate in the games with us, go ahead, hit it up in the comment section, and you'll get an entry. I'll give you an entry for free to win these, okay? Anytime that we play any of these games, maybe it's trivia, maybe it's like guess this player or something like that. If you get a question right, if you get it right in the comment section, we give you a free entry. It's that simple. That's the easiest way to earn entries. Now, the quickest way to earn entries is to click on my link in the description, Super Draft Pro, which, Chase, please explain to the folks what Super Draft Pro is.
Yeah, absolutely. So Super Draft Pro is it's the future of daily fantasy sports. So right now, if you go to one of the big name daily fantasy sports, you'll have to pay daily money. Whereas with Super Draft Pro, it's a membership. So, and it's legal in all 50 states. It's backed by Caesars Entertainment, the Caesars Entertainment from Las Vegas.
Yeah, legit.
So, and there's 3 different memberships. You've got a 19.99, pretty much a $20 membership that gets you, it gets you about, anywhere between 2 to 4 games a day. Then you've got the $50 membership, which extends your games of how many you can play a day, and then $100 a month membership, which exceeds even more. And the simplest way to put this, guys, is for every dollar you get an entry. So if you sign up for a $20 membership, you've got 20 entries, correct?
Yes. And if you get so you get the 50, you get the 50 entries. You get the 100, I'm going to go ahead and give you 120 entries. Yep. Since you went for the big boy package. Now that's not required. It's not required. We encourage it. That's how you're going to get the most entries. That's the fastest way to get entries.
That's how you're going to get your bang for the buck.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And you're going to get 120 chances, 120 entries to win this Rashad Fitton 8x10 and the Tyreek Hill 8x10. Mark Murray, are you still in here, buddy? Please tell me you're still in here, because I'll tell you what, if you're still in here and you're still watching, you get an entry right now. Just because we appreciate we appreciate the follow, right?
Yeah, chat. So if you're here, obviously the goal of this, reason why we want to do these giveaways, we want to give away these signed photos, is because we want you guys to come join this legendary community, sit in here, talk about the Chiefs with us, stuff like that. So this is kind of our way of, of giving back, saying, hey, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate your loyalty, the follows, the likes, the subscriptions, all that stuff. We greatly appreciate it. This is our way of saying thank you, is these signed photos. So if you're in the chat, if you're active in the stream right now, go ahead and throw something up in the chat so we know you're here, so you can get some entries. And if you want to guarantee some big entries, some big entries, and win some money on the side, man. I play Super Draft Pro all the time, and I love it, man.
It's easy. It's easy.
I'm on the $20 a month membership. I'm not big time. If you're interested in making money with Super Draft Pro, you can message James or I privately, and we can tell you how to become a coach to where you can get your friends and family to join, and you can make money as well. But that's how you win it, man. And we would love to get you guys some entries and make sure that these pictures go to the right people.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump in it. I call this one the over-under game. It's pretty simple. We got a couple different topics, that we're going to ask. And I want you guys to let us know what you think. We're going to give you our opinion of whether we think the results of the season or upcoming events is going to be over the mark or under the mark. The first topic is draft day. So on draft day, the Chiefs, if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty confident on this, they have 12 draft picks. So my question for you, Chase, and for chat as well, is how many draft picks will the Chiefs use on draft day? And I mean use, I don't mean trade them. I mean use them to draft a player. And I set the over-under at 8.5. Go.
I'm gonna go over. I think they keep a lot of those draft picks.
I think I also say over, and I think the reason they're trying, like Brett Veach's plan this year, it was clearly to get younger. We went with Justin Reed over Tyrann Mathieu. I don't want to say we were okay with trading Tyreek Hill, but at the end of the day, we felt confident enough that, we had some young guys in place, McCole Hardman, for example, that we're going to be able to step up. Is McCole Hardman going to be able to fill Tyreek Hill's shoes? No one on the roster is going to. But it was the attempt to get younger. We've got Noah Gray behind Travis Kelce. Like we just see it all across the board that we're trying to get younger. So I think this is a great opportunity having 12 picks to go get some legitimate players. And like a lot of these picks, we've got I'll say 6 picks in the top 100, even though the sixth one is at a 103. That's a lot of picks, man.
Yeah.
And you can really do some damage if you're hitting on those. So I absolutely think he goes over that 8.5 mark, nine or above for sure. And I'm not saying we don't trade, make a move. Maybe we move up, get Jameson Williams. I don't know. That's what a lot of people think, but I wouldn't give up both my first rounders for it.
Absolutely not. And I think that I think if Brett Veach can't find who he wants in a trade, he's going to get somebody as equal.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so staying on the draft, Brett Veach said earlier in the offseason that I don't remember exactly what his words were, so this is not a quote, but he just implied in some sort of way that he was going to focus on the defense this year. How many defensive players get drafted this year? Over under is set at 5.5. Go.
I'm going to go over again. So both over on both of those questions.
Okay. I did my mock draft. I did my first mock draft of the year. I've got 3, 6, 7 players on the defensive side of things. So if it's set at 5.5, I've got to go over. I just firmly believe it. I believe Brett Veach is, kind of a man of his word. He said he was going to go on the offense, he was going to focus on the defense and not focus so much on the offense. And I think that's exactly what needs to happen. And it's exactly what's going to happen.
Absolutely. I kind of had the same thing going on, man. I'm actually scuffling here, but trying to find something. But when I was working on my mock drafts and I was working on team needs, there wasn't a whole bunch on the offensive side that I saw as a need.
Uh-huh.
And I also know that Brett Veach will balance out. He'll say, hey, this is a position of need, we'll draft, or hey, this is the best guy available, we're not going to pass him up. That was kind of my mock draft as well. So yeah, I'm over on the 5 on the 5.5. So
all right, bro, I'll let you take the next one.
All right. So Patrick Mahomes is going to throw touchdowns. We all know that. Okay. But how many does he go for on the over and under? We've got 40.
40. I'm on record in one of our previous shows saying that I don't think that this offense is going to be as explosive, but I do think it's going to be more efficient. So I'm going to go over.
Okay. I think I'm going to go over too, you and I have talked, we've kind of touched a little bit on it in previous episodes, and you and I have talked off screen, personally, and I've kind of shared my outlook on it, that the Chiefs were going to kind of look at a scheme change a little bit, but I don't think that scheme change is going to affect Patrick Mahomes' numbers, because I think we're going to see him throw a lot more play action and red zone touchdowns, more than we saw him throw the deep ball. I think he still will throw the deep ball, but I don't think you're going to see the majority of his touchdowns come from that deep ball. It's going to be a lot of, like I said, play action over the middle to the tight end, red zone touchdowns, those little dump off passes, or lob passes. So I think he's still going to have the high numbers. So I was going to go. The over on the 40 as well.
Yeah, I think that the offense this year, like I just said, is gonna be more efficient, and this is what I mean by it. In Patrick Mahomes in the 2018 season, and the 2019 season, Patrick Mahomes torched the league, and they played him in the cover one, and he, because of Tyreek Hill being able to do what he does and stretch that field, they relied on him to and that was their offense. Basically, that was the majority of their offense was Tyreek Hill. It was so prevalent that they memed it up and they were like, F it, Tyreek down there someplace, right?
Yeah.
And so now that so then they stopped playing, defenses stopped playing cover one against us, and they started playing cover two, and we struggled. Pat struggled to kind of get it going, but I don't think with Tyreek Hill and McCole Hardman and Demarcus Robinson, Byron Pringle, we didn't have the pieces in place to beat that cover two. So we went out there and got some guys. We got MVS, who's a big, fast receiver. We got Juju Smith-Schuster, who is excellent from the X receiver slot, that slot receiver. And then, to be able to beat that cover one still, see, those guys can beat the cover two. And to be able to beat that cover one still, we've got McCole Hardman. Now, does this mean that everything's figured out? They're going to be all stars? I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller. It doesn't mean that they're not going to go get somebody in the draft at wide receiver. Like I mentioned earlier, Jameson Williams gets thrown out a lot. He's a big receiver, and receivers from Alabama are notoriously good. And they transition to the NFL really, really well. I don't know what that means, but I think that if we went into the season today with MVS, McCole Hardman, who would be listed as a number two purely because the fact that the X receiver is listed as a number three, and then Juju Smith-Schuster, that this offense with Patrick LaVon Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league, is going to be fine. Stop freaking out, people. Like, just stop. They're going to be fine. It's the best quarterback in the league.
Agreed.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Look, guys, if you're tuning in, you let us know what you think in the chat. Does Patrick Mahomes throw for more or less than 40 touchdowns this coming up year? Go ahead. Hit me with another one.
So, running backs by committee, who gets the lead and how many yards do they get? Over and under 900.
Okay, so we are going to run a running back by committee this year. It's going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Ronald Jones and Derek Gore, which we're going to talk about more in just a little bit because I'm super, super excited about that one. Donnie, 50 touchdowns on the season. That's slinging it. That's slinging it all across the yard. But okay, to go back to the running back by committee, let me hide this real quick. I think that it's going to be Clyde that takes the lead. Yes, they will do the committee, but one receiver will get more touches than another. They will get predominant. It'll be like 2/3 to that guy, and then they'll split up the other third between two other guys. Or maybe half the touches to one guy, and they'll split up the other half between two other guys. I think it's Clyde that gets the most touches. He'll get 50% of the touches or more. I don't think that Kansas City is ready to give up on Clyde yet. I'm about ready. He's injury prone, and he hasn't really shown that much. What he does show is some explosiveness, but if he continues to get injured, he's not going to be worth a damn by the time he's 28 years old.
No.
So I'm about ready to give up on them, but I don't think Kansas City is. Over under set at 900. I think it's over. I think it's over just because I know this is a running or this is a passing team. And like Mahomes is gonna throw the ball. There's no doubt about that. But I still think that we're gonna see a change of philosophy within this offense a little bit. Like this is a phenomenal offensive line, and so to think that one of our running backs couldn't get 1,000 yards on the season with an additional game recently added, I think it's got to be over.
I agree, and I'm in agreement as well. I think it's uh I think it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think that I think that this team has shown that they believe in Clyde, and that they trust Clyde, and that Clyde has made mistakes, and Reed has kind of told the young man, hey, pick yourself up, move on, let's forget about it. It's in the rearview mirror. Kind of the same way, he's worked with Mahomes and the team about losses. Hey, like we're on to next week. It's in the rearview mirror now. Let's move on. And I think that I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still a good young talent, and I think he's going to repay Andy Reid this year by showing out on the offense. So I've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I've got him going over 900. And I think the main reason why he goes over 900 is because of the moves that we've made by bringing in Derek Gore and bringing in Ronald Jones to help shift those guys out. It's going to keep Clyde healthy, and it's going to keep Clyde strong, and he's like you said, the offensive scheme change, we're going to see a lot from Clyde. So
heard that. Also, just wanted to mention, Donnie, I got you since you're participating. You commented the 50 on the touchdowns for Mahomes. I got you for an entry, my man. And anyone else, y'all, that it's that simple. You want an entry for these 8x10s? It's that simple. You just throw what you think in the chat, and I get you for an entry. Donnie's got one.
It's a participation trophy, guys.
That's it. Look, Donnie got 2. Donnie gonna be the only one that get any tickets. At least it'll be easy for shipping.
So moving on to the next one, the final question of the game on our over and under game. How many wins on the season? Over and under 11 and a half games. So how many?
11 and a half. I'm going to go over. I know we have a tough schedule. We've got one of the toughest schedules in the league. But I think this team has gotten better. I don't want to speak too soon because we haven't seen the draft. But I think offensively, they've gotten better. Is any one wide receiver better than Tyreek Hill? No. But as a unit, I think they've gotten better. And then defensively, we've got a lot to look forward to. We've got some young gun linebackers in there. That photo that can you load that up real quick? You know what I'm talking about, passing the torch photo.
Yeah, give me 1 second here.
So we've got a great, go ahead, I'll just keep talking. We've got a great set of young linebackers. We've got a great young safety. Chris Jones is going to be with us for hopefully the entirety of his career. Frank Clark just got restructured. His contract got restructured. He's going to be back. We've got some young guns in the interior, Mike Dana, Derek Dottie. We've got some guys that are starting to develop. Now, do we need to pay attention to the defense in the draft? Yeah. So I don't like answering this question, even though I came up with the question. I don't really like answering the question this early, but I'm going to go over. I think that there's a lot to look forward to. We've got a phenomenal offensive line that's going to protect this phenom that we have as a quarterback. And yeah, I think I have us winning 12 games. That puts us over. How about yourself, bud?
I have the Chiefs on the over as well.
There it is. There it is. That's DJ Derek Johnson passing that torch on down.
That is correct.
And I love it. I love the symbolism.
Yeah, so I shared that to you this morning. I saw that on Instagram. Thought that was a really cool picture myself. Over and under. I've got 12, so I'm going on over. I looked at the schedule and I kind of got the same thing that Donnie's got, starting slow, and that's the Chiefs for you, man. Start slow and
we should have been here a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll just keep doing it. Hey, apparently Donnie's the only one that's going to get any entries. He's going to do it all day long. He gets another one. We got you for 3 now.
Yep.
So, all right, my man, let's get into it. Game time's over. Game time's over with. Derek Gore, man, I said we were going to come back to it. I want to talk about Derek Gore because he's been retained. He signed his restricted free agent tender, and he has been retained. He's going to be a Kansas City Chief this year, at least for this next year. What's your thoughts, bud?
I think it's a great move. I think that he's much needed depth that the Chiefs need, and I love the way he runs. He runs with a chip on his shoulder. He plays smash mouth football. Gee, many Christmas. Like I said, I love the way he runs. I could see him sliding into the number 2 position, most definitely. I'm not taking anything away from Ronald Jones. I think that he could be beneficial to us as well, but I definitely could see Derek Gore sliding into that number 2 position. So,
yeah, I agree, man. I think that Derek Gore during preseason last year caught the hearts of many, many Chiefs fans.
Yep.
And then we didn't see him all year.
Yep.
Until the end of the year. We've said this over and over again, and we've seen this happen over and over again, but this offense is very complex. It takes a long time for these young guns to get in here and really even see the field. The fact that he's seen the field at the end of the year and was as productive as he was speaks volumes about his intelligence, his focus, his determination. He's got it. He's got what it takes. He's very decisive. He's very quick at making decisions. He's very good at ball security, and I agree. He could very well, after a full off season, and then getting training camp, OTAs, the whole 9 yards, time to learn everything. Eventually, the game will slow down for him a little bit, and I think it already has.
Yeah,
and he could, if he keeps trending the way he is, he could take over the number 1 spot.
I can see it. So, he's 27 years old. So there's not a whole lot of room left for error. And it's good that he's getting involved.
Okay.
So
I didn't realize Derek Gore was that old. I say that old like he's 20. I mean, he's younger than both of us, but
yeah, absolutely.
In the NFL, a running back's lifespan, 27 is elderly almost.
Yeah, so that window's closing for him, but he's still for a player in the position that he's in, he has shown great, great upside. So
Well, and the great news is that there's just not a lot of wear and tear on those tires.
no.
So, I thought that was really, really big, big news when, and I had a very positive response. I think a lot of Chiefs fans would be in agreement about Derek Gore. So something we didn't really talk about last week, that I wanted to go ahead and bring up this week is that they signed Jason Stallworth, formerly of Indianapolis. I'm looking it up, but I think
He was a defensive tackle for Indianapolis. And very, very interesting on what it's Taylor Stallworth.
Sorry, I said Jason. I meant Taylor.
Yeah. So Taylor Stallworth, like I said, he was a defensive tackle for the Indianapolis Colts, and in free agency, the Chiefs offered him a contract. He's on his 5th year. He's been with the Saints and the Colts both. So I think we're going to see that he adds some depth to that line. And just to kind of, even hit a note that, I know a lot of Chiefs fans are wanting to hit, and that's pass rushing. Taylor Stallworth recorded 22 pressures last season in 16 games. So, he'll be on that line, and he'll be putting pressure on there. So,
yeah. And really, okay, we see Chris Jones get pressure from the interior line all the time, right? But that's not really that common. Interior linemen, they do get pressure sometimes. I mean that's not really that common. It's just, don't expect too much from him in the pass rushing game. Really look at his run defense, because that's what we brought him in for.
Yeah.
The run defense of the Chiefs last year was not good. I don't want to say it's bad. It was bad, but it just wasn't good for sure.
It definitely wasn't as, definitely wasn't up to par with what we expect. Having Chris Jones on the line, Frank Clark, those front four, whether the two edges are rushing the passer or not, that rush defense shouldn't have lacked as much as it did.
Right. All right. I know this isn't on our rundown, but I want to talk about Melvin Ingram. It was reported, okay, the Kansas City Chiefs signed him for peanuts last year, for what, 6-7 games, something like that. He was a free agent. The contract was only for the year. It was reported that Melvin Ingram has gone to visit with the Miami Dolphins. Okay. This is not the end of the world, Chiefs fans. Bottom half of the league. For what?
For the Chiefs
the run defense. Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. And there was like a 7-game span where we did all right, but yeah, Melvin Ingram, it's not the end of the world if he doesn't come back. He came here for peanuts, and he provided a quality service. I think that was the intention all along. Is Kansas City said, "Hey, look, we can only pay you this, but you're going to have the opportunity to earn a contract for next year. We'll give you the playing time." And he did that. He earned a contract, whether it be with Kansas City or with someone else. He went out there and was productive enough that at the age of 32, he deserves another contract. He deserves to try to squeeze every penny he can out of the NFL. So if he leaves, I'm not going to be mad at him. This is the same Melvin Ingram that played for the Chargers for the entirety of his career before going to Pittsburgh. So is there a loyalty to Kansas City? No, there's not. Stop getting mad at him.
Well, I think the frustration lies. If I had to guess, the frustration that Chiefs Kingdom has to lie with the front office for letting him letting him walk.
Sure.
I think we all can agree that he was a huge piece to the season turnaround. Believe in coincidences or believe that it was fate, that it was bound to happen. But when we picked up Ingram, the season turned around.
Yeah.
The defense made a turnaround. The defense made a massive turnaround.
Yeah.
And a lot of people believe we didn't have the highest pass rush. We were bottom of the league, bottom of half of the league, like Donnie said, in rushing defense. And that's where Melvin Ingram was. Mm-hmm. So, but the pressure that Melvin Ingram, Frank Clark, and Chris Jones were able to compile together was able to help out the guys on the outside, the back half, our defensive backs. And that's where you saw a lot of the change in the defense last year. So I agree. I think, like I said, I don't think Chiefs fans are upset with Melvin Ingram because it's not up to Melvin Ingram at the end of the day. It's like it's like we'll talk about later with Tyrann Mathieu. It's not Melvin Ingram's decision. It's Melvin Ingram's agent and Brett Veach and the Chiefs front office. And I think that's where people's frustrations lies. Why are we letting Melvin Ingram walk out the door when he was such a pivotal part last year?
Well, and the answer to that, and I've already spoke about this, is we're getting younger.
Yep.
We're getting younger all across the board.
Younger and cheaper.
Yeah. And so, I think I put it in my mock draft that I thought we were going to go get an edge rusher. I'm not going to say who, but I think we're going to go get an edge rusher in the first round. We'll talk about who, after we come back from our break here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it boils down to me, is that we're getting younger. Did he provide a service? Sure. And so did Tyrann Mathieu. But we're getting younger. And speaking of Tyrann Mathieu, he's gone too. And now he's coming back and he's saying, what was it that he said? Something stupid. It was
he had an interview with somebody from the Kansas City Star, and was quoted saying that had the Chiefs offered him what they offered Justin Reed, he probably would have taken the deal.
Yeah.
Now, there's some context to that. Number one, he said probably. Yeah. Number two, that's not what his asking price was. He made it very clear that hey, this is what I want, this is what I'm worth. And all the stuff that he put out on social media about NFL owners being greedy and all that stuff, not talking about the fan stuff. We've gotten into that and we don't need to get into it anymore. But he's made comments, where he's been very public about, NFL owners, being greedy and stuff like that. And, he made his price tag very well known. And then after the signing, after, he was replaced, he said, well, I would have taken that deal. Well, you don't do the negotiating, Tyrann, your agent does. So if you would have taken that deal, why didn't you tell your agent that you would have taken that deal?
Yeah, 100%. So, you made the graphic, and we posted it out, and we sent it out to all the Chiefs groups. And this here was a comment that came up by Alec Rosas. I know I just butchered the shit out of that name. And if you're here, I'm sorry. I apologize. But I thought he nailed it. Why didn't you speak up and say that? Instead, he sat back and waited. His gamble didn't work, and now he wants to backtrack and put it all on the organization as to why they couldn't make a deal. 100%. This is a PR move,
Yeah.
is what this is. He wasn't going to accept the Justin Reed deal. He had made that clear what his price tag was. He bet on himself, which that's okay. We all know Tyrann Mathieu is a very confident guy. He bet on himself, and he lost. He didn't get what he wanted, and now he's got to backtrack, and he's going to make it look like the organization is the bad guy because, well, they didn't even offer me that deal. I probably would have took it. Horse manure.
Yeah. Of course, like I said, of course you would have taken it.
Mark that.
Yeah. Of course you would have taken it, but if that's what the price range was, but that's not how the negotiating works. You and your agent come together, your agent tells you, what price range he's looking for, and if you agree with it, or vice versa, you tell him what price range you're looking for, and we look at the market, and then we go to negotiations.
Yeah.
Now that you haven't had a deal based off of what you've requested from the market, now you're like, well, I would have taken that deal.
Yeah. Man, it's like if I wanted to work at the Olive Garden and I said, hey, look, I need $20 an hour. And they were like, I don't know. And then I shopped around and no one else was willing to give me, more than $15 an hour. And I go back to the Olive Garden, they've already filled the position with someone for $15 an hour. And I was like, hey, I would have taken a job for 15. No, yeah. You asked for 20.
Yeah,
exactly. It doesn't work that way. So, yeah. And I agree with the fan, Alec Rosas. He nailed it right spot on the money, so I don't want to talk about Tyrann Mathieu anymore. I don't think he's coming back. I think he especially now that he's trying to paint the organization in a bad light, he's really burnt the bridge. So, I do want to, however, talk about Travis Kelce. We mentioned it a little bit earlier. Travis Kelce is getting up there in age. So let me ask you this. Is his replacement in-house? And I mean Noah Gray or Jody Fortson, possibly? I
don't know. I think that if you say, hey, like that's his replacement, you're putting a heavy burden on the shoulders of George Forston and Noah Gray. A heavy burden. Because those are big shoes to fill in Kansas City.
Yeah, we're talking about possibly the greatest tight end to ever step foot on the field.
Yeah. And so like I said, those are big shoes to fill for those two guys. I don't, if depending on what the Chiefs do at the tight end position, I don't know if those two guys can do that. Now, if the Chiefs are looking at moving on to other positions, maybe not having as bolstered at tight end as they have been, and they say, hey, Noah Gray or Joe Forston are our guys going forward, maybe. But if they're looking for somebody to fill the shoes of Travis Kelce, then they're going to go out and get that elsewhere. They're not going to find it in Fortston or Gray.
Yeah, they're just too raw. They're just unrefined talent. Now, I think that Noah Gray, there's a possibility that he could turn into a Travis Kelce type player. He could be good. He has that possibility. He's got the same athletic profile. He's got the same athletic abilities that, like fluidity in the hips, but he needs to work on some of the like route running and learning the offense and learning what other people and how to manipulate zone defenses and some of these stuffs that Travis Kelce has gotten so good at over the years. Fortunately, see, Travis Kelce didn't have somebody like that for him. And Noah Gray has Travis Kelce to learn
Agreed.
from. And so, like, I think Travis Kelce, the question is how many years does he have left? I mean, over the past 2-3 years, he's gotten banged up. You made a great point earlier when we were off air. He's the same age as Gronkowski.
That is correct.
So like, how many more years? And yeah, it was kind of funny listening to you rant about that. But it's like Gronkowski, who? Like, who the fuck is this guy compared to Travis Kelce? I know he's got all these Super Bowls and yada yada yada, but Gronkowski ain't shit.
No, not compared, not compared to Travis Kelce, and I'll go to war with that, and I'll fight about that all day. The only reason Gronkowski was even a fraction of good, as good as he was, is because of Tom Brady. Gronkowski didn't make Brady. Brady made Gronkowski, and Gronkowski couldn't lace up Kelsey's cleats. And like I said, I'll go to war for that opinion. So
yeah. Gronkowski ain't schnizzle whizzle compared to freaking.
I think George Kittle's better than Rob Gronkowski.
100%. 100%. All right, man. So before we go to break, I just wanted to make one more point. I think that Jody Fortson is going to be a special player this year. While we're talking about the tight ends, I really think that, once again, I kind of mentioned it before, this is a complex offense. Both Noah Gray and Jody Fortson should make a bunch of progress this year due to the fact that they're going to get a full off season. They've had a full season now. They get a full off season. They've got to learn this offense, and now they've had time to at least get the playbook down.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, it's a full year and da 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 da. It's hard.
Yeah, man, and I don't want to. I don't want to do. I don't. I'm always a huge supporter of the Chiefs. I'll always be a huge supporter of the Chiefs. But I don't want this to be like a bad guy turn for me. But there's certain players with Chiefs Kingdom that we call them, like, the darlings, the guys that we get behind, the Andy Studebakers, those second and third string guys, because we watch a lot of preseason and stuff like that. So there's guys we get behind. And the reality is that there's just sometimes those guys aren't going to be anything more than special teams or a third string, and with a great quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, they may catch a touchdown pass every once in a while, maybe, but that's all they're going to be. And I'm not trying to rain on that parade, but as far as Fortson goes and Gray goes, they're not going to be Travis Kelce, and they're not going to step into that number one spot. If they do, then by the time they step into that number one spot, that is the Chiefs letting us know, like, hey, we do not see that tight end position as important as we used to, because, like I said, those guys aren't big enough to fill that position.
Well, I'll tell you, Travis Kelce took 5-6 years before Travis Kelce became Travis Kelce. Yeah. So can I agree with you that they're not gonna fill that role next year or the year after? Yeah, 100%. But can they develop? If you look at, I completely disagree with you about Jody Fortson. I'm higher on Jody Fortson than I am Noah Gray. 100%. You look at how he's trending. how he came out in preseason and then he produced in the regular season until the point he got hurt. I think he's going to come out and shock a lot of people. But, you know, that's my opinion. I'm just a guy behind a microphone, you know.
Yeah, no. You know what they say about opinions.
Yeah. All right, my man. Let's go ahead and take a break. Before we take off and break, when we come back, we're going to talk about positions of need coming into this next year. We're going to talk a little bit about the mock draft that we did. Also, Dick Vermeil chose Carl Peterson to be the inductee. He's going to have him induct him into the Hall of Fame. We're going to talk about that and a little bit of that. And then tragic accident that happened with Dwayne Haskins. We'll talk a little bit about that when we come back. Don't forget to hit that like and share button. And we will see you guys here in about 5 minutes. Yo, what's going on, everyone? James Howell here with Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk. Look, I got one question for you. Who wants to win an 8x10 signed by Tyreek Hill? Who wants to win an 8x10 signed by Rashad Fitton? Well, I got it. I got it right here. 8x10, certificate of authenticity. Rashad Fitton, 8x10, Tyreek Hill, certificate of authenticity. Tyreek Hill. You're not going to get much more than that. Look, the only way to win it is to stop by Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk, ask me how to win it, and I'll let you know. We will explain it on the show, so you can tune in at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I hope to see you all there, and I can't wait for the show. And until next time, stay legendary, my friends.
Hey, buddy, you're on mute.
Oh my goodness. And here you are.
Yep.
Welcome back to the second half of the show, everyone. Appreciate every single one of you. Fudge, man, that mute thing. That mute thing. Hey, like you guys just saw in that video, we are giving away the Tyreek Hill 8x10, the Rashad Fitton 8x10. It's over $200 value going to one lucky fan. Super, super easy to get in. Donnie Ray has already earned 3 entries tonight. All it takes, you follow our stuff, you get an entry. At Jaymes Howell 1, at CR Media 1988. You get an entry. That's simple. You share it, you get another entry. You participate in some of the games that we put on here at Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk, you get an entry. For every correct answer, for every answer, it ain't even got to be a correct answer. It's just a participation trophy. You know, you get an entry. All it takes is a little bit of interaction, and that's what we're looking for. Chase is a great guy, but I don't always like talking to just him. You know,
Heard that.
I like talking to everyone else, and we like getting the opinion of Chiefs Kingdom. You know, our opinion is our thing. Yeah, y'all's opinion could be different. So, you know, let's have at it. The quickest way to earn entries into these right here, to get these right here, is to sign up for Super Draft Pro. Chase, go ahead and explain to everyone what Super Draft Pro is one more time.
Super Draft Pro is it's the future of daily fantasy sports, where you can play daily fantasy games without having to worry about paying a fee or paying the entry fee every single time. They do have entry fee games, but you start with a membership, $19 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month, and you can play an adequate amount of games for depending on how much your membership is. So the $19 a month membership, $20 a month membership, will get you 20 entries into the signed photos.
The $50 will get you 50 entries. The $100 is going to get you 120 entries. We're going to throw in a bonus of 20 entries if you go for the big boy. Like we said, you could just participate in some of the games and then participate in some of the chat, follow, share, hit that like button. These are all ways that you can earn entries for free and get this for free. This show is never, ever, ever going to cost anything to watch. It will forever be free. I promise you. I guarantee you this show will forever be free. If you want to show some love, the Cash App is in the thread, in the comment thread. Just hit the Cash App. Facebook's got my stuff bugged to where I can't enable stars. I have all the qualifications. I just can't enable them. And so we'll have to do it this way. Hit that Cash App. Show us some love. Like I said, 100% free to watch this show. It's never required. But, if you want to keep seeing us do this, show us some love. All right, my man, let's get into it. Let's stop talking about money and all that other shit. positions of need. Going into this next season, go ahead and tell me your top 3 positions of need.
Top 3 positions of need. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go edge rusher. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go safety, and I'm gonna go wide receiver.
Okay. Okay. Edge rusher, safety, wide receiver, and I think a lot of fans would agree with that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and ask the fans right now. Go ahead and let me know what you think in the comments. If you let me know right now, I'll go ahead and give you an entry. I'll get you an entry. Edge, corner, right tackle, Billy Karen. You got an entry, bud. You got an entry to this Rashad Fitton, Tyreek Hill, and and that's. I kind of agree with Billy. Edge, we're all in agreement. Wide receiver, I agree there. You get an entry, Mama Bear. You get an entry just for being Mama Bear. Tell you that. So I we're all in agreement. We need an edge rusher. Frank Clark is not the future here in Kansas City, and besides that, we need somebody on the other side. Wide receiver, cornerback, safety, edge. Donnie, you get your 4th entry of the night. Appreciate you. My biggest position of need is edge rusher as well. Now, as far as cornerback or safety, I think we need a safety, but I wouldn't. I know we need a safety. I wouldn't put that in a top 3 position of need. Cornerback for sure. Because we got Rashad Fitton, who's an all-star. He's just not been discovered yet, like, national media. And then, who do we got? L'Jarius Sneed, and then that's about it.
Yeah.
So cornerback's definitely a need, and wide receiver. I know a ton of people are going to be like, "Well, we need defense." 100%, we need defense.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we can't work on the offense at the same time. There's no denying that we need a wide receiver. We need a big body wide receiver that's quick, that's going to be fast, and is going to be not going to need a whole lot of refinement to just step in there. Now, I'm okay if we don't get that because, like I mentioned earlier in the show, I think with the combination of MVS, Juju Smith-Schuster, McCole Hardman, our running backs, our tight end, that whole combination with the stellar offensive line, this offense is going to be more efficient than what it was last year. So I have a hard time putting that in the top 3, wide receiver. So to make my final answer, I'd say edge, cornerback, and right tackle. I would agree right tackle. I agree with Billy 100%. Just because I'm not sure on that's the weakest link in our line, and I'm not sure if Lucas Niang is that guy.
Agreed.
So I could definitely go down that route. So I did this mock draft, right? And I've got Kansas City with the number 29 and the number 30 pick, right? David Ajobu and George Pickens. Now, I said that I wouldn't include wide receiver as a top need like that, but it would almost be like a luxury of an embarrassment of riches at that point. We need to get, in my opinion, we need to get a young, fresh wide receiver from the draft, and it needs to be in the first 3 rounds. After that, I had a safety in Jalen Petrie from Baylor, and then Travis Jones, inside defensive line from UConn. Just because, I don't know what you think about our interior defensive line. I know we just got Jason Stahl. Let me see if I can fix that. I hear that I'm echoing. How about now? It's on.
Just keep rolling with it. We'll see.
All right. All right. So I said Jason Stallworth again. Taylor Stallworth. We I don't know why I keep doing that. Um, if he is as good as what a lot of people are thinking he's going to be. Now I haven't really got to look into it, but I know he comes with high regards. Um, that might change. I might not be drafting an inside lineman, inside defensive line at 62.
Yeah.
You know, we could very well go cornerback at that number 2 position and draft a wide receiver at that 62 spot. You know, which would make more sense, but I'm not sure about that guy. And then to round up my first top 5 or my 5 picks, I doubled up on edge. That's how important I think edge rushers are this year. How about yourself, bud? How'd your mock draft go?
So with the 30th pick, I've got Kansas City taking a defensive back, Daxton Hill out of Michigan. And then I have them looking at potentially trading away that second first round pick.
And that's a possibility. Now, I wasn't going to pay. I did this draft simulator, and we could have incorporated trades in it, and I wasn't going to pay the premium membership for, to do it. So we didn't get to do any like trades or anything like that. But do you think they trade away their first round, like both their first round picks to go move up and only like to move up to maybe that 13, that 12, 11 spot? And then leave themselves with only one first round pick?
I could. I just don't know if there's anybody in that spot that they absolutely love, that they say, hey, that they say, hey, we want to go get this guy. I think the only way the Chiefs don't use those 2 picks is if they trade away for somebody. And I just don't know.
Maybe DK Metcalf.
No, and I've thought long and hard about it, and I've thought, are these possibilities now? I really don't think they are anymore, because I don't think that I think that the teams that have these players available, the wide receivers, that are looking for an out, or teams that are rebuilding and wanting to look at getting something, they're asking a lot. And I just don't see the Chiefs going, yeah, we're going to give up that to go get those wide receivers after making the moves that they've already made.
Well, especially with Christian Kirk redefining the entire wide receiver market.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting paid.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, whoever pays Cooper Kupp, they better just back up the fucking Brinks truck.
Well, and I sent you that quote from I sent you that quote about Deebo Samuel, where they made a point that Deebo doesn't want to be the highest paid wide receiver. He wants to be one of the highest paid offensive players because of how versatile he is. So there's a lot of issues. And so if the Chiefs trade those picks away for a wide receiver, like let's say DK Metcalf, and some of these deals get made before that trade happens, or right as the trade happens, whoever trades for DK Metcalf has to sign him to a new deal. Mm-hmm. That's going to factor in a lot, man, and it's going to be it's going to be real hard to do. So. Sure. And we're going to have the same conversation like we had last year on this show about the Orlando Brown ordeal, where people were like, well, I don't know if he was worth the first round pick that we gave up for him. Well, the Chiefs were not going to sign him. Like, that just wasn't going to happen.
Right.
So whoever they make this trade for, if they trade one of those first round picks away, that person has to be looked at as a long-term option. and I just don't know if there's anybody on the market, on the trade market, that would be worth that.
Also, when you look back to recent draft classes, I mean, DK Metcalf was a rookie not too long ago, and he came out and he made a splash. And we've seen it from Jerry Jeudy. We've seen it from the kid out there in Dallas, CeeDee Lamb. We've seen these receivers come straight from college and make instant impacts on their team.
Absolutely.
So I just to your point, I don't think that Kansas City's not going to turn into Miami all of a sudden and just and sell the farm to go get a wide receiver. It's just not going to happen.
Yep.
Billy Karen says Juju, Josh Gordon, McCole Hardman, MVS, Kelsey, Fountain. Remember that's that Fountain kid I was telling you about. He was making big splashes. He's a big
and that's
handsy receiver.
And and Billy brings up a great point, man, because I completely forgot about Josh Gordon. I mean, we weren't even. I mean, I'm not counting on Josh Gordon, flipping it around and becoming a top wide receiver. But man, like if he can turn it on a little bit, he's a fantastic option there, and another viable weapon for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
so,
and I've said it a couple times already, and I'll go ahead and say it a third time. This offense takes a long time to learn.
Yep.
It does, and he's going to get a full offseason, and he's going to get a chance to have a full resurgence and not come in the middle of the year and then be held to a certain expectation and yada yada yada. He's going to have that chance to go through preseason and training camp and really learn this offense. I think Josh Gordon's still got a little bit left in the tank. I really do. He just needs to learn this offense. Man, where were we here? So we talked about the USFL. I don't want to talk about that again. Dick Vermeil. Okay, so go ahead. You start us off with Dick Vermeil, bud.
So, Dick Vermeil came to Kansas City. Gosh, I don't have the exact year, and I'm kind of limited on screens. I don't have my double screens up.
I think it was like 99, I think, or something like that. I'm not exactly sure either. But I mean, what an impact he had. Yeah, I don't know. All right. So, anyways, he's getting.
Dick Vermeil came in. He was immediately a fan favorite in Kansas City. Brought
2001. There it is. There's my fact checkers coming in. I love it.
There you go. So Dick Vermeil came in, was an immediate fan favorite in Kansas City, and brought Trent Green with him. Had made some other moves. Dick Vermeil was a very passionate person, which we love. You and I, we were laughing about this. I told you, I said, win or lose or draw. Vermeil was crying.
He was crying.
You love to see the raw emotion from guys like that.
Yeah.
Dick Vermeil is going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame, and inducting him into the Hall of Fame is going to be former Chiefs general manager Carl Peterson. Which is really cool. I think one of my favorite memories of Dick Vermeil is that 2003 season when the Chiefs started out 9-0. We had the number one scoring offense and the dead last defense, which sounds familiar.
Not much has changed.
And the Chiefs looked really great that season. And I think that my favorite game from that season would have to be, there was a game with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers, and this game was phenomenal, man. The Chiefs did how only the Chiefs could do, and that was start a little slow. They went and they fought tooth and nail with the Green Bay Packers. It went into overtime, and they you got a ghost?
Something just slammed up against my garage. I don't know what that was, bro.
it's probably one of them kids getting you back for yelling at them about the frosted. But yeah, man, that's definitely one of my favorite Dick Vermeil memories as him as head coach, was watching that game. That game was I was in the truck with a couple of friends. We were listening to it on the radio. We got to the bowling alley as quick as possible, and we got to the bowling alley as quick as possible so we could go watch the rest of it on the screen. And it was just awesome. So,
well, I gotta tell you, I went back and I watched the game. We talked. Of course, we plan this out. We plan the show. We get together, we meet up, and we talk about it. And I went back to edit you a video for the game, and I went back and I watched the game. And mind you, how many years ago is this? 20 years ago, damn near. And I find myself at the end of it going, all right, yes, getting into it. But here, look, let's go ahead and play this clip.
50-yard attempt.
This is where it all started.
Good. Just enough to cross the bar. His longest of the season. And the Packers add 3 more. It's 31-14. That'll make up for an out-of-bounds kickoff. By Bidwell, the tackler of the game, to Hall. Flags are down. Hall looks for some block. He's got one, 30. Got the wall on the far side, 50. And finally tripped up at the 45-yard line. The halftime. After the 32-yard return, we'll replay that and show you why the fans were unhappy, thought there was a clip. Green and Kansas City need points. The throw is to tight end Tony Gonzalez, and a first down at the 26. Diggs, the aviation management major in college, was ready to fly in on the quarterback. Here's the screen, and it's Priest Holmes in the open, 15, 10, and to the 9-yard line. The throw is complete to the fullback Richardson, and he struggles to the 1-yard line in the grasp of Marcus Anderson. A 3rd and goal from the 1. They try Holmes, and he's able to nose it over the goal line for a touchdown. His 8th rushing touchdown of the season. It's 31-21 in Green Bay. Empty backfield far. Quick throw. Incomplete, intercepted. He could go all the way. Favre is the only man to beat. He cuts around Favre, and it's Jerome Woods on his way to a Kansas City touchdown. Take that, Jim Nance. And can you believe football game makes it a field goal game? Oh my, how things have turned at Green Bay. 8:46 to go. Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs, sees a quick 6. Green Bay. The long-arm handoff to Mon Green. And the Chiefs defense showing more spirit here. Drop Green for a 2-yard loss on 2nd and a dozen. Green in motion, and then they throw back the other way, and it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Gary Stills. So Stills and Favre, 3rd and 12, rolling right, looking, and finally runs out of room and out of bounds in front of the Packer bench at the 42-yard line. Kansas City Chiefs 67 yards.
Al Saunders goes to play action out of the I formation, and somebody in the Chiefs secondary completely loses track of Tony Gonzalez. Ever since he's been in the league, this guy's not afraid to go down the middle of the field. And that graphic sure does give you a good look at it. And Anderson are cemented as an outstanding team. And here's the big play, 3rd and 12. The quick throw to the outside to Driver, and he can't get away from Eric Warfield, who quickly gets company. 2 yards. Bad snap, but the hold is good, and the kick is good. Doug Peterson with a great job. He had trouble handling the snap. Consecutive games now to tie it. No doubt about it. And Anderson and the Chiefs, who are down 31-14 entering this 4th quarter.
Yeah. And both of these teams offensively, this coin toss could have you'd have to think that the first guy that gets the football here is the odds-on favorite to win it.
Let's listen to Ron Winter.
Title is timeout. Timing will be as if it were the 4th quarter. Hands it in!
Kansas City wins the toss. And Vonnie Holliday, the ex-Packer, who has transferred his talents to Kansas City as an unrestricted free agent, made the call. Green gives to Priest Holmes, and Holmes bangs forward for 4. 46 yards rushing for the Chiefs. Holmes hit the line of scrimmage and able to struggle forward to the 38-yard line. Cledius Hunt to make the play. 39. Holmes again. And he seems to be picking up steam, running better now in overtime than any quarter of the game. Barnett gets him to the turf, but not until another 6-yard gain. And they give it to Holmes. Dives to the 50 for the first down. So that gives them 60 yards rushing. And boy, they've been punishing hard-earned in every regard for overtime. Trent Green hands off to Holmes. Holmes has some opening 45-44. Stopped rudely by Nick Barnett. That 4.6 decathlete speed of his, the rookie. Green hasn't thrown a ball in overtime yet here at Lambeau, and he won't hear as Holmes again finding a hole. And he fights his way for a first down inside the 40. Diggins inside, hold him so I get a chance. Holmes again finds a hole and gets inside the 35 to the 33. Well, Holmes had only 31 yards rushing the 3 quarters of this game, and now in the 4th quarter, overtime, he has 46 yards. Mr. Vermeil on the sidelines with Kansas City, and Green now. Almost intercepted by the ever-alert Darren Sharper, and he's one of the best in cutting off that angle in the league. That's why he has more interceptions than anyone in the last 4+ years.
Limits of his range.
It's up. It is no good. Partially blocked. The Packers deny.
Well, anytime you feel that you're on the outer limits of your range, sometimes you have a tendency to drive the ball a little lower than normal.
Number was obscured. Now Favre gets his chance with good field position, the 39. Amon Green, who's had a sensational day, fumbles the ball, and it's recovered by Kansas City's Mike Maslowski. He caught it midair, the fumble. Green, who's been so reliable, and coughs it up at the Kansas City 48.
Longer time to talk to them and say, if you try this again, we'll knock it out again. Again, following William Henderson, who gets a fine block, but it was the helmet, looked like Jerome Woods. Looked like Jerome Woods, number 21, put a hat right on the football. Yep, there it is, right there.
In the preseason, has delivered the big interception touchdown. Now Green, he's going for the long one for Tennyson. He got him at the 10, the 5, touchdown to Kansas City with an incredible victory in Green Bay today in overtime.
And the Chiefs remain undefeated. Dick, can you believe this?
Rallying from 41-14 going into the 4th quarter. The biggest 4th quarter deficit to win a game in Kansas City history. 6-0, and how they earned it in Green Bay.
Hell of a game. You're muted.
There we go. Yeah, man. That, like I said, I was pretty excited you were able to find that footage, man, because that was
that was all Donnie. Donnie got that for me, my man.
Hell yeah, huge ups to Donnie, man. Huge ups.
Yeah, he gets another entry. All right, man. All right, so yeah, Dick Vermeil was great, and you mentioned it. He was emotional, and that to me was my favorite thing about him. You know, a lot of people were like, "Oh, he's a crybaby, whatever, yada yada yada." Look, that showed that he cared. And so to me, that he cared so much, man, that he would openly allow his emotions to show, you know, in a room full of men.
Yeah.
You know, man, that meant a lot, man. And he cared about his players. He cared about the game. He cared about himself. And I got a little video here showing his emotions several times throughout his St. Louis career and here in Kansas City. And it was St. Louis at the time. None of this Los Angeles crap.
You know, I come out in pregame warm-ups and visiting stadiums, and some guy will yell, "Hail Vermeil, why don't you cry for us?"
Lawrence and I have experienced a lot of things.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, because, you know, we put a lot of work into this thing, and you guys do all the physical work. It's a way to pay a debt.
Some fun, buddy.
All right, I will.
Just play within yourself.
All right.
Got to go to work.
You done a hell of a job, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Just relax.
I'm happy for you. Hey, I'm happy for you. Hey, listen, I have not been so relaxed in my whole life. Honestly, gotta.
I'll try to help in any way I can.
Hey, Will, we've been here before. We got to do it later.
You know, I love you, man. I love you too. Thanks, man.
Couldn't ask for a better script. Let's go win it right now. All right, guys. Last play of the game. He dives for the end zone. Didn't make it. Didn't make it. That's it. And we won it. Woo-hoo. That's the game. It's over.
Hey, man. 3 years. It's on. Super Bowl, did we not, huh? Did we win the Super Bowl?
Put him a thumbs up. Give him a thumbs up. Give him a thumbs up, right? All right. You're a world champion, buddy.
It's all right to cry. It's all right to cry. I love you.
It's like losing a father. I felt like I was losing my dad all over again.
Forever. Huh? Forever. Right?
I think there's a lot we all learned, starting with the old coach. We all learned, but the basic principles that it takes to win will never change. You surround yourself with good people and work hard and be unselfish and care and don't be embarrassed to say I love you and I appreciate it. And because, guys, if you say it, someone else will say it back to you. And guys, I love you. And you know that.
It's time, that's all. And it's just time.
You're muted, buddy.
Son of a gun. I thought I hit it. All right. No, Donnie nailed it, man. He was a very passionate guy. And
Absolutely.
That was one of my favorite things about good old Dick Vermeil.
And passionate in a great way, you know. He came over from St. Louis. He brought the backup quarterback with him. Because it just wasn't realistic to bring Kurt Warner with him. So he brought the backup Trent Green. He brought winning culture to Kansas City. Regardless of what can be said about, anybody we mentioned, whether it's Carl Peterson or, I was going to talk about Gunther Cunningham. Gunther Cunningham going from being, the head coach, and then, Vermeil bringing him in and letting him be the defensive coordinator. I thought was showed how much, like I said, regardless of what you agreed with it at the time, with Gunther Cunningham as the defensive coordinator. Dick, that was, he was Dick Vermeil's guy. So
yeah. The loyalty was there.
Exactly. You know, and it was like he said, you know, hey, if you say I love you to somebody, they're going to say it back. You know, and that just, you know, that's kind of just has that mentality of, you know, just spreading positiveness around not just, you know, where you're at, but out in the world as well. You know, you go out and tell somebody you love them, they're going to tell it back to you back. So you're just spreading positively. So, you know,
and that was an amazing time to watch Chiefs football.
Oh yeah,
I mean, with Trent Green, Priest Holmes, Eddie Kinnison, Johnny Morton, Tony Gonzalez. Yep. I mean, Tony Richardson. The list goes on and on. We've seen Jerome Woods.
The Fort Knox of the offensive line with Willie Rose, Casey Wigman, Brian Waters. Yep.
Yeah. Jesus, Weezus.
Yeah.
And you know, like, you know, on defensive side, we had Jerome Woods and Mike Mislowski and what's the cornerback's name I was thinking of?
You already said Woods. I don't.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not gonna hang up too much on it. I'll remember it as soon as we get off the air.
But it was, And Billy brings up a great point. You imagine Pat with that offensive line. Imagine if Pat would have had that offensive line in the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers.
Well, I'm pretty high on the offensive line we've got right now.
Absolutely.
Is it the same caliber? No, but I think that
they'll get there.
You know, we're one piece away.
Yeah, they're headed in the right. They're headed in the right direction. But you know that
compared to the year before, 100% better.
But it was funny. Billy mentions that, man, because it was one of the things that I thought about. You know, and I was thinking about, you know, when you were asking me like, hey, what's your favorite Dick Vermeil memory? I was sitting there and just thinking about that team and thinking about what they accomplished and what they didn't accomplish. And you know, and one of the things that came
Dante Hall. That was another guy we left out.
Yeah. One of the things that came to mind was that offensive line. And you mentioned Dante Hall in that video clip that you shared. You know, he mentioned Dante Hall mentioned he was like, man, it was like losing a father, like when he left. And, you know, like that's crazy. Like I mean, he just left the team, you know, he just left the city. I mean, it wasn't like he was, you know, he didn't he didn't pass away or anything. I mean, he's still a phone call away, you know, he's still an email away, all that stuff. So, you know, for Dante Hall to say that about Dick Vermeil, you know, was, you know, it just shows you that the impact that he had on everybody's life, whether it was personnel, coaches, or players.
Yeah, 100%.
And Carl Peterson, like I said, Carl Peterson's gonna be the one to induct him into the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. And they shared something I thought was interesting. I didn't, you know, I mean, we were pretty young at the time, though we remember the moments that he, you know, in his tenure with the Chiefs. We didn't know a lot about the history. Him and Carl Peterson have history from UCLA.
Yeah.
From back in like the 70s or early 80s or something.
I've seen that. I didn't know it at the time, of course. Like
you said. Of course. You know, so that's, like I said, you know, whether it was players, personnel, or coaches, man, he touched a lot of lives, and you know, that's awesome. So
hey, Billy, my man, since you've been so interactive, I'm gonna go ahead and give you an entry into that drawing. We're gonna go ahead and give you an entry. Like I said, guys, it's basically a participation award. I'm giving it away. I decide who gets the tickets. If you're participating with us, I'll give you a ticket. So appreciate you, Billy Karen. That's my sensei.
Your sensei.
Yeah, that's my sensei. I need to get back into classes. I need to get my kids in there, but it's been a long time. But you know, I was taking some martial arts classes for a while.
Gotcha. Okay, I thought you were saying sensei to be like funny.
No,
like I thought maybe you knew him from like school with, you know.
No, not at all. No, not at all. No, my actual sensei.
Yeah, that's funny. That was it. That was the first thing that came to mind when you said sensei. I was like,
so
he knows him from school.
Yeah, no, I took some martial arts classes with him, not much, but they did a little bit, and he's invited us out there before to bring the kids out there, and but my youngest is just now old enough to really get in there and start taking classes. Not my youngest, my second to youngest. Yeah, my boy.
So not Jimmy.
No, Jimmy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jimmy's not your youngest?
No, I got a little girl, Serenity.
Okay. I thought Serenity was older than Jimmy. Interesting.
Yeah, no, Serenity is the youngest.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, appreciate you, Billy. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us. I think that really does it. Oh, we have one more thing, and I definitely don't want to leave this out. Unfortunately, Dwayne Haskins, quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, was hit by a truck and killed in Florida. I believe he was 24 years old, and it's really, really unfortunate deal, man. Like we kind of heard so earlier in the season last year, we heard the Henry Ruggs situation where he was drunk and killed somebody, and that was really unfortunate too. But to the point that he ended up killing somebody, but the story itself almost made you angry. With this Dwayne Haskins story, man, it really hit me hard, man, because he was a standout in college. He came here and he was with Washington, which I don't know if you heard about Washington, but they've got themselves in some doo-doo, financial issues.
Yeah, no, we can definitely touch on that after it. It sucks, man, because number one, a young man lost his life. And that's the worst of it. Where the tragic way it happened. You don't ever expect anybody to go that young. Granted, anybody can go at any time, but for it to be such an unforeseen accident like that.
Sure.
It hits you hard because, like I said, man, he's 24,
and his future was so bright, man.
And a lot of people. I'm not gonna harp on it too much because I don't want to give it the time of day. But there was a very popular sports analyst who put out a tweet, and
Gil Brandt,
and
I'll throw his name out there because it was nonsense that he even said that. So, I'll throw him under the bus for that.
Did you say it? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Gil Brandt. That's his.
I wasn't talking about Gil. I was talking about Shefty.
And Shefty.
Yeah. And I understand, granted, whether Scheffner meant it, I don't think Scheffner meant it the way that it came out, but he still should have worded it better.
In a position that he's in, he's got to be conscious of what he's saying.
And what I'll say is that, especially in Chiefs Kingdom, where we've seen, a lot of people in Chiefs Kingdom are huge Alex Smith supporters. Where Alex Smith spent the tenure of his career, where Alex Smith was kind of thrown to the side. He was considered done. He came to Kansas City and made a difference in Kansas City. So to say that at 24 years old, Dwayne Haskins was done is just asinine and it's stupid. So yes, he did have a bright future ahead of him. He could have at any time been put in the right position. I
thought he was going to have a good chance there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I messaged, of course, Mike Harris, a big Pittsburgh fan, but I messaged him when I first heard about the move, and he wasn't too hyped up about the idea, but I just thought that was a very good move on their end, that he had the potential to even be Big Ben's successor, and start for the Steelers. You know, and he's out there putting in time in Florida with Chase Claypool and getting to know these receivers, getting that chemistry built. And I mean, like, the point is, his future was incredibly bright. Even if he is sitting and pulls like a Chase Daniels and collects a bunch of money his entire career as a backup quarterback and never really sees the field, I mean, his future is still incredibly bright.
Extremely.
And for, you know, something so tragic to happen and for that young man's life to be taken away as early as it was, it's just, it's heartbreaking. It really is. It's heartbreaking. So, you know, but yeah, I think that's really it. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say tonight, bud?
No, man. Like we covered it all. You know, I had a lot of fun tonight going over the Dig Vermeil stuff, rewatching that Green Bay game. I knew you were working on some visuals for that, so I purposely, because like as soon as I said it to you, I was like, oh man, I want to go watch it now. I was like, no, I think Jaymes is putting something together, so I'm gonna wait for the show tonight. You know.
Yeah. Man, if I would have had that whole video in there, I would think it would have been 16 minutes long.
Yeah.
So I had to cut it down to the important parts, and that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was an incredible game. It was an incredible game to watch. So,
yep.
All right, guys.
To many more, right?
Right. All right, man. Let's go ahead and sign out of here. I'm going to shut down the chat overlay real quick. Hey, guys, I appreciate each and every single one of you. We had a pretty high viewer count for the majority of the show. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys sticking around, hanging out. Don't be scared. Come hang out with us. Hit that comment section. Interact with us a little bit. You know, we're not gonna bite. We like it. You know, we encourage that.
Absolutely. Even, you know, whether you agree with us, you know, whether you agree with us or you disagree with us, you know, we love having the comments on there. I'm not going to shit on, I can't speak for Jaymes, but I'm not going to shit on you unless you say something completely asinine. Then I'm going to make a fool out of you. But
we can definitely, I mean, like if you disagree with us, we encourage you to put it down there because that in turn, you know, sparks conversation. You know, if we always just agreed on everything, then what the hell are we even talking about?
Exactly.
You know, so we encourage it. Even if you disagree with us, put it down there. We'll debate it with you. We'll tell you our side, and you know, maybe you can convince us of something. Hey, like I said, appreciate every single one of you. Make sure that you're going and you're following us at JamesHowell1, at CR Media 1988. You can find us on just about every major social media outlet: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch. You can even find us on Twitch now.
Absolutely. You know, obviously this is the Chiefs talk. I mean, we talk a lot of Kansas City Chiefs and a lot of NFL football. If your niche is, you know, watching Twitch or, you know, joining in, watching people play Call of Duty and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Jaymes is fairly active on Facebook Gaming and Twitch. So, you know, he's definitely,
and it's only going to get more and more. Yep. I mean, I'm going to incorporate it more and more. We've been testing the waters in the gaming department, you know, and we'll play all kinds of different stuff: Call of Duty, Elden Rings, Madden, Command and Conqueror. I went back to like 1996 the other day, and
I saw that.
That was a lot of fun.
I saw that. I like I said, I had it on my TV while I was moving furniture and painting walls. In St. Joe, and I had you on the TV, and I was like, what is he playing? I was like, is that what I think it is?
Yeah, it's the remastered version of Command and Conquer, Tiberian Sun, and Red Alert.
Yeah,
a lot of fun. Those games were fun. Warcraft was fun too. But yeah, come check us out on Twitch. You know, I play there. We you know, you can find us. Just make sure wherever you do find us that you hit the follow button or the subscribe button, the notification bell, whatever it is that you got to do to make sure that you never miss an episode of James Howell's Chiefs Talk. And I think that's it. My buddy Chase over there. I'm James Howell. This is James Howell's Chiefs Talk. And as always, stay legendary, my friends. What's going on, guys? James Howell here. Look, if you enjoyed this content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And more importantly, make sure that you smash that notification bell. That way you'll never miss any content from James Howell's Chiefs Talk. Also, while you're at it, go to James Howell's Chiefs Talk on Facebook as well as on Twitter. You can find the links for those in the description. Until next time, once again, stay legendary, guys.